For 24 days, the people of Ukraine have endured Putin's relentless attacks.
It's not human to do this, to attack the children.
Russia's stronghold on the city of Mariupol tightening, with intense street fighting hampering efforts to rescue hundreds of survivors still trapped under the rubble of a theatre that was being used to shelter women and babies.
The blockaded Mariupol will go down in the history of responsibility for war crimes. To do this with a peaceful city that the occupiers did is a terror that will be remembered in a century.
The port city has seen some of the worst civilian suffering. It's estimated 80% of Mariupol's homes have been destroyed.
I could never imagine that an air bomb would hit a house next to mine, that my district will be literally wiped out. And then I realised there were no safe places in the city anymore.
While thousands of displaced families have managed to escape the besieged city through humanitarian corridors, around 300,000 people remain.
It felt like the most brutal hell. But now, what Russians do now is just complete extermination of the whole city, of the civilians. Hell is coming from the sky to Mariupol.
As each day passes, the crisis worsens.
3.2 million refugees are outside of Ukraine, and there are another 2 million people who fled inside the country. So 1 out of 8 Ukrainians is now a displaced person, and we are afraid that the figure is still rising.
The UN says at least 847 civilians have been killed and more than 1,300 wounded, and still Russia insists it's not targeting civilians.
How many civilians have to killed, and after that to explain about mistake from Russian forces.
Meanwhile, an airstrike on an army barracks in the country's south has killed at least 50 soldiers, but it's feared up to 200 people were inside at the time. Despite that, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is warning Russia of the price it will pay for the conflict as it becomes a pariah state.
The time has come for a meeting. It is time to talk. The time has come to restore territorial integrity and justice for Ukraine. Otherwise, Russia's losses will be such that it will take you several generations to recover.
Well, Inna Sovsun is a Ukrainian MP and she joins us now. Inna, you're based in Kyiv, but you're in Western Ukraine now visiting your son. How difficult was your decision to relocate him for the time being?
Well, I didn't really have much choice. The moment I heard the bombs exploding over Kyiv, I called his father. We are divorced, but we had a plan that in case there is a war, he will relocate our son to the Western Ukraine because I am a member of parliament, so I couldn't leave. So, yeah, there was not really much of a choice. The moment you hear the bombs exploding, the first thing you care about is I need to take my son to safety. But it's extremely scary. Like every time I hear about sirens in the Western Ukraine, my heart freezes for a few seconds. And then, my son is not that scared, but he knows what the siren is, and he needs to go to the basement when he hears those.
You know, we're hearing convoys of Ukrainian civilians trying to escape Mariupol, and they're being hijacked by Russian troops and forcibly taken to Russia. That's been some of the reporting. Can you tell us any more about that? Yeah, Mariupol is so bad. The situation there is like Putin is just holding 400,000 people hostages. They are not allowing them to leave. And yes, we did hear reports from the city mayor and then confirmed by the city council yesterday that they actually have taken thousands of Ukrainians out of Mariupol. They have taken them to Russia. They have sent them through what they called filtration centers and then sent them to very distant areas in Russia. That is so much like gulag, like internment procedures. That is unthinkable. This is as totalitarian as you can imagine. They're just taking people and taking them into their territory. We don't know where they are. We know that they were forced to sign some papers that they will stay in that area and they will work for free for 2 years or 3 years in the area where they were placed by Russians. This is slavery, like literally, and that is being done by a state.
Australia has pledged an extra $75 million in foreign aid today, which includes 70,000 tonnes of coal. How useful is that going to be?
Well, I want to thank Australia for the help, truly. Any type of help that we are getting is extremely useful. And the main problem is, of course, delivering any type of aid to the areas where they are most needed. Any type of support, particularly in supporting the basic infrastructure like heating, is extremely on time. Again, we hope that we shall be able to deliver that to those most in need.
Is there anything more you would like to see Australia do right now?
Just don't buy anything from Russia now, please, because any dollar sent to Russia right now is being used by Putin with one single goal, is to buy more weapons to kill Ukrainians. So please don't give him money that will be used to kill us and our children.
On the one hand, Putin and Ukraine are negotiating with the intention of some kind of settlement. But at the same time, it seems that Russia is escalating this conflict, killing civilians, deploying increasingly powerful weaponry. Do you have any faith in the negotiating process?
Well, we trust the negotiations need to be happening because at least that allow us to agree upon some humanitarian corridors. But I frankly speaking do not trust that we can just believe what Vladimir Putin is saying. We did hear a week ago Lavrov blatantly stating that they didn't attack Ukraine. There was such a lie, but he just went to the microphone and said it openly. So I don't think we can trust them. I don't think we can trust any deal we make with them. They were, after all, one of the guarantors of the Ukrainian security, and they attacked us. I don't trust anything Putin is saying, and I suggest the world doesn't trust him either.
Inna Sovsun, we appreciate your time tonight. Thank you.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.